Judith O'Callaghan. I'm based in Brisbane, Australia. So I specialize in ERP implementation. My favorite thing is phase zero. So phase zero is setting things up right for success. And over the last 20 years, I've been involved in many ERP implementations, including rescues and other challenging situations as well. So it's a very interesting question, right? That is being highly debated at the moment, especially with the newer technologies coming in. So, in my opinion, ERP definitely is a necessity for an organization which is big and is based in multiple countries or is undertaking considerable amount of transactions. So, depending on who you are as an organization, and if you believe you're a complex organization, you just genuinely benefit out of having an ERP. So, in my opinion, every situation has an answer, or every problem has an answer, right? So, for example, let's take an example of buying a car.
Mm.
So, do you want a car or do you need a car? Only you're the only one who can say that. And if definitely, if you decide you need a car, you have to do your research and work out the right car the car that is right for you, for your family, for your situation, and everything else. Same with an ERP. So let's say you're a startup or a small organization who has started working with Excel sheets, and then you migrate into a product like a financial only product like Zero or something else that helps you do your financials, work your invoices and other things. And then you may need something more. Maybe you add a CRM and something else. At one point, you go, okay, I need a ERP, or I need one thing that can help me manage these multiple things for different reasons. It could be costs, it could be the scale, it could be the complexity, or it could be purely convenience. So either way, you know what your organization is looking for, and engage the right experts to help decide the ERP that is right for you. ERP, or for anything that you want to do, there is always a bit of change resistance,
Mm.
right? So that's natural, and we are humans, and we are not someone who wants to change quite often. So, in my opinion, resistance is actually a good thing because people who you're working with actually care about what they're doing and they value what they're doing. And that is why you get answers like, what is the benefit and why do we want to do it differently? So, in my opinion, the best change management that have been successful or effective has been proactively engage the engaging your stakeholders. So yes, get the top level buy-in, mid-level buy-in, and everything else. And most importantly, get the buy-in from the users. That is the, people who get the job to be done. These are the value added, most important brains of the organization. So people who get the job done. So this is includes the guy in the warehouse, the guy working on the truck, or someone working on the supply chain. Everyone is important because in an ERP, especially if there is a breakdown in any form, from any source, you're
Mm.
going to feel it. So make sure there is right buy-in from everyone in the organization. And two, when there is resistance, understand where the resistance is coming from. So it's very easy to choose a stance to just railroad the resistance and say, thou shalt do it this way. But for a time being, it may look like it works. For example, for a go live, everything is great or everything else. But you'll see the problem only after 6 months or even 12 months. Because when there is resistance, there is a real reason why there is resistance. It may be someone seeing something that we are not seeing. So pay attention to it and identify what is that. And then you can work through whatever resistance it is in whatever shape and form that is right for that situation. So again, as you reiterated really well, go beyond the cost and the brand. First
Yeah.
of all, know your industry, know who you're serving, and number three, know who you want to be and who you want to be serving. So this helps you understand what you're looking for. So understanding yourself better helps you understand the solution that is right for you. Not all ERPs work for every organization. So look beyond the cost and the brand. And also talk to those who have been through the journey before. So in your industry, you will find a lot of people who have been through that journey before. Talk to them about what ERPs they use and what has worked and what hasn't worked, because there is nothing like lived experience or lived knowledge there. So go beyond and get yourself understood a bit more and bit deeper, because that gives you heaps of information as you work with the vendors or as you evaluate evaluate the products, and it'll help you understand what questions to ask, because that's knowledge and the wisdom that you gain. So one of the things I really like about it is the last point where you highlighted, do not treat it like an IT project or a system implementation. This is a transformation. Whatever be the style of ERP you're implementing, big, small, or somewhere in between, your organization is transforming. So keep that in mind and work with it, because transformation is something wherein you do not know what you're evolving into. Be open for it. It gives you a lot of gains when you're open for it. But if you treat it like an IT project with very strong constraints of time, cost, and quality, it will give you that outcome. That is, it'll be a very strict, rigid one, which doesn't grow with your organization, which doesn't scale, or at the end of the day, it's not going to serve you. And the other point that you rightly mentioned, and I think it's very important for all of us to highlight, is that engage early and engage the right people early, engage upfront, and be forward about it. Yes, there is going to be a lot of change. Yes, there is going to be resistance, and make sure you put the right people in the ERP program. So the quality of the output that you get in a transformation program is the quality of the people you dedicate into the program. So if you treat it as just another extra project and you put the most junior resource on the job, you're not going to get the outcome. And it's a long-term journey. Whatever ERP you choose, it's going to stay with you for 5, 10, 15, or 20 years. And bigger the ERP it is, you get the ROI only after 15, 20 years. So make sure you invest the time and do a very good phase zero so you are set up for success. The ERP measurement success, normally people look at it from a pure financial point of view, right? But I think the organization benefits from getting a non-financial view towards it. For example, speak to those who use it directly and indirectly. For example, the ones who transact with it every day, and see how the ERP has improved their life or what is the challenges they have. And those who are the indirect users of the system, for example, those who receive the reports from the ERP, how has it helped them? And the suppliers, the vendors, the ones who actually use the ERP to make the decision. So talk to them and see how the ERP has improved their lives, or what are the things to improve. And also, one of the key things that I believe an ERP helps is the helping in the improvement of decision making. How has the ERP improved the decision making in an organization? That's a very effective measure. So overall, you measure it over a period of over a very long period and see how these measures play up. So I also recommend to clients that you use these measures and measure it every 6 months or every 1 year, whatever is the right thing for the organization, and keep updating it. So this way, you know how your ERP is functioning, what are the improvements that you make, and also how your people are interacting with your ERP, because it's a living, breathing thing. So the more you know about it, the better. So in my opinion, right, so when anyone thinks about a ERP, they think about their organization and the immediate users and everything. But what kind of gets forgotten is that the people who use it for their decision making, for example, your suppliers, vendors who are using your ERP data for their decision making. For example, if they're supplying you a material, they need to know how much you're ordering so they can talk to their suppliers or whoever it is to get that done, and they can work through their material planning and their supply chain and the manufacturing planning and everything else, because this data is very critical. So involving them and involving them during the ERP design and even after the ERP design is very, very critical. And sometimes the suppliers of the suppliers. So we know we work in a very integrated world, because anything that 2 or 3 levels away can actually impact me. So the more I know about it, I can mitigate my risk, and also I can service my customers better. So involve at least 2 or 3 levels, your direct users and and people who directly interact, the people who work around you, that is your suppliers, vendors, and if you can go one level beyond as well and engage them positively. So this helps you build a very good ecosystem, build a very good connection, reputation, and all that, in addition to gaining valuable insights that will help you design processes better and your value chains better and get the most out of your investment. So you can look at both the ways, right? So any challenge is a gift. So I'm saying something, I'm going to say something very controversial here. No ERP is going to do everything in your organization. So there will be, there are going to be instances where you will have to choose to use a different software or integrate with a different software and anything else. For example, right, let's look at a simple payroll data. It has to be integrated with multiple things like government systems and even employee systems, benefit systems, and everything else. So integration is something we need to be totally aware of. So when you go for more expensive ERPs like SAP, Oracle, or everything, you're going to pay for every integration. So please keep that in mind as you decide on how many integrations that you want and need and everything. And also make sure the systems that you're integrating with are absolutely needed and it's also adding value. A system for a sake of system is not going to add any value. For example, if you're a very unique, your organization has a very unique warehousing process that cannot be met in a standard ERP, and you've gone for a customized one or a different ERP, that is absolutely okay. Make sure those two ERPs are integrated and compatible, and you're not paying for data ingress and egress in any of those ERPs. Those all will contribute to those costs. So make that do have a view and validate it with the experts and do the research upfront, because this will help you save a lot of heartache in the future. Because I've seen a lot of problems wherein people think it's great to have multiple systems. That's fine. You've got a spaghetti or a spider web of systems, and then end of the day you have to pay for everything, and then you have to pay for the data exchange between all of that. And we sometimes forget the teams that is needed to maintain all those integrations and all those systems and everything else, and data duplication, all sorts of problems there. So just be very mindful as you make decisions. No, there is no baseline to say this is the way to go. So it's a very client-based conversation or a client-based decision. So one of the key things organizations get stuck on is that the success of a go live. So people believe it's the end, and all the important resources get taken away, and consultants go their way, and life happens. But the thing is, your journey has just started. So yes, ERP has gone in. Yes, you've gone live. That's fantastic. But this is the first day for the rest of your lives. So take it seriously and work with it. And appreciate the ERP for what it is. But having said that, any ERP, when it's implemented for the first time or upgraded for the first time or anything like that, you are going to have only the basics. So there would have been things that have been taken off the scope. There would have been, adjustments that are made just to keep it going and everything else. This is the opportunity to take a pause and understand what should be done. You would have understood your value chains during the process. See how you can improve those value chains by optimizing them or working with it. The more ERP, any organization with its ERP, I call it's like a relationship. So the better the relationship that you have, the better you understand your ERP better and make the ERP work for you. So you don't have to embrace everything that's standard. So it's worth customizing on your value chains. But for that, you need to know where your value chains are and where you can customize it. So those are the insights that'll come only after you go live with it and start working on it. And the other aspect that I believe is very important is continually train the users and anyone coming in. Normally when they're after the UAT or whatever being just before go live, people are all trained and it's all mass training and everything else. But after go live, it dies down. So we can see that in many organizations, right? So it's like a new person comes in and they are trained by those who are just before them on their role. So no, take that opportunity to give them the training from from scratch from a very different perspective. Do not skip on that, because what will happen is if you let the training take its course by its people who have used it before, then all the mistakes will get repeated and everything will get amplified. You lose the value in the process. So respect the ERP, respect the users who are coming in, equip them with the information, and also be very open for feedback, because end of the day, everything can be modified, changed, adopted to suit the value or to increase its value. So keep an open mind and never say this is how we have done it and this is how we are going to do it. Life is all about value, its improvement, and go with the flow and make the flow work for you.